Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This time we are talking about Attack on Titan episode 13, final season episode 13 may I add. One of the crazier episodes, I must say, just in terms of this batch of episodes. I mean, just thinking about all the stuff that went down in this episode. Gabi facing the Blouse family, Zeke's spinal fluid being fed to the military, and accidentally Falco, and Eren wanting to just sit down and have a chat with his hand cut open. We'll talk a lot about that. And if you don't know, this is my first impressions, breakdown, analysis of the episode. These are just my first impressions, first thoughts. And if you want something more in-depth, tune in Wednesday for a more in-depth review of the episode. Those videos are always super fun because I'm just so much more... I come up with a lot of really crazy theories that I think some of you would greatly appreciate. It's fun. So with that out of the way, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell. Don't miss a video. Let's get into the video. So the village of Ragako, they used Zeke's spinal fluid and this special gas that they made. And the way this works is really fascinating. So the small bit of gas that they use will be able to freeze them in place. And then what Zeke can do, as they're frozen or comatose or whatever, he can then give out any order and just turn them into Titans on their own. Zeke was talking to Levi about this, and Levi, he doesn't believe Zeke when he says this, but Zeke says that he had no choice to kill those people because of obvious reasons. They didn't want to see Zeke as somebody who was a turncoat or somebody working with the Eldians, because as we know, Zeke's parents were Eldian restorationists, so he's probably spent a lot of time just undercover. But maybe the reason he told on his parents in the first place was because as a kid, maybe he was smart enough to know that if he went down with his parents, then he would die as well, and that maybe this was the best way to continue his father's work, was to essentially sell his parents out, which is a very sad way to go. Maybe if he met Zeke in, now, maybe he would forgive him. Though Zeke does tease Levi about not being popular with the girls, which is a very, very funny thing to say in the AOT fandom, because as we know, Levi is very popular with the girls. And Levi's response to him saying that is, he was popular enough. And you also have to think back to season 1. I mean, he had Petra. Come on now. Petra's like, everybody loved Petra. I mean, I remember when season 1 came out, everybody was like, Petra this, Petra that. And then when she died, it was very sad. It's very sad. Very sad for Levi as well. He lost his waifu. And just like always, guys, AOT hates waifus. I'm telling you, they hate waifus and they hate husbandos pretty much equally. So don't get too close to some of these girls or boys. I'm telling you, it's just better that way. Save yourself some heartache. Then we go to the fancy restaurant with the finest dishes, where we see Gabi and Falco. I don't know why I'm talking like that. I'm doing weird accents lately in my videos. It's very strange. So anyways, they have this dinner that Nikola was preparing, and this meal is a very special meal that Nikola wanted to make for the Blouses because of his love for their daughter, Sasha. But things don't go too well. This is kind of the start of the unraveling of this actually starting out very wholesome, very happy scene. The military show up. John picks up this bottle of wine, which turns out to be Zeke's spinal fluid infused with this wine. And Nikola won't let them drink that wine because obviously, as we reveal later, that wine was meant for the officers of Marley, not people like the military. So in the middle of the meal, Gabi and Falco run off to Nikola. Falco comes up with this idea, oh, my stomach hurts. And Gabi very awkwardly is like, I think if I go with him too, it will make him feel better. Listen, I know a lot of people hate Gabi for what she did, but you cannot deny that Gabi is one of the most, unintentionally most awkward character in the whole series probably so far, and that honestly makes her so hilarious. The comedic timing with her writing, it's subtle, but it's so funny. It's goofy, and I think that's on purpose because of, what she did. Kind of want to make this girl a little bit more grounded because she's so into, murder and stuff and calling people the devils. You got to ground her a little bit. You got to get her back to reality. And I think that's there to make her character seem, more believable, I suppose. I guess you could say, what I'm trying to say is that it brings levity to her character. So Gabi and Falco go talk to Nikola, and they immediately mention who they are, which prompts Nikola to ask the question, did they kill a female soldier? Which Gabi is like, yes, me, I did, I killed her down, I shot her down, she dead, she totally dead. And you know what, Nikola, dude, as my notifications go off, it's amazing. You should kill more Marleyan soldiers, it's great. And Nikola is like, oh, is that right? Picks up the bottle of wine with the Zeke spinal fluid, hits Falco over the head, goes for Gabi. And to be honest, in that moment, like, I don't like the memes of people like showing that gif of them beating up Gabi, because I think it's just mean-spirited and kind of dickish and just not really cool. But in that moment, I could really feel why Nikola would want to hit Gabi over the head with that bottle of wine. I mean, this was potentially the love of Nikola's life, that Gabi's like, I killed her and it was awesome, you know? Like, duh, why I would pick up a bottle of wine and try to hit Gabi with it if she killed love of my life, which I guess they say what comes around goes around, you know, karma. So Nikola drags out Falco and Gabi, and the military is alerted of what's happening over there. Nikola is basically like, I'm gonna kill them. Like, I'm gonna straight up just take this knife, this kitchen knife, and I'm going to murder the both of them. Like, he offers Blouses the blade to do it, and Gabi during this is begging Nikola, and to gain sympathy for Nikola, she says that she believes that Sasha was brainwashing Nikola, and that you can't let the devils win. And I'm just, once again, like, guys, I'm talking about this thing earlier with Gabi's character being so awkward and so dense that it's funny. This is one of those times where you kind of analyze it for what it is, and she's saying such absurd, unrealistic, out of this world things that it's like, how can you not laugh at some of the things that she says? It's funny. It's because it's so stupid and wrong. So Nikola hands Blouse the blade, sort of forgives Gabi, but I don't want to say forgives, you know, I say we'll say lets her off the hook, because I don't think a father could forgive anyone for killing their daughter. I just don't believe that. He says to Nikola that it is the burden of the adults to shoulder the sins of the past, or basically the mistakes of the past, which I thought was a really great line. And he talks about how maybe Sasha was in this giant forest for too long and got lost and went in circles, basically. And he's basically trying to talk about the cycle of revenge, and how if you get lost, you just keep going and going and going in circles, which is probably, you know, a good explanation of what happened to Sasha's character and what got her to that point. She got into a cycle. Kaya, on the other hand, runs at Gabi and tries to kill her, but is, of course, stopped. And she is not happy with Gabi. Believes, you know, that she trusted her and that they thought they were friends. It turns out she murdered the person that saved her life. Think about that. The reason for Kaya's reaction is because Sasha was the one who saved Kaya in season 2, and she felt that close. I mean, obviously one can think that Sasha is Kaya's hero, and what would happen if somebody killed your hero? So now, going back to the forest with Levi and Zeke, they talk to Levi about how the Jaegerists pretty much have all of the control in the walls, and that Zeke is using Eren and Yelena to complete his goals. And as well, that Eren will be brought to Zeke following their demands. So it seems that the Jaegerists have a plan, obviously, a plan fully made, and they're enacting on that. And I don't think anybody really expected that. So it seems that they're definitely going to get their demands in the end. But Levi, he can't believe it. He believed in Eren that, you know, he was going to be the savior of humanity, and that it's led to this farce. And he says something interesting. He says at the end that there must be a better option for someone to be fed to. It just makes me think, personally, that what is Zeke's plan really? Like, what is the whole vision of this plan? And if we're to believe by this conversation and what the gossip they've heard, why is Eren being controlled by Zeke if that is true? I don't know, but maybe, like, the reason has to be really good, I guess, is what I'm trying to say here, because otherwise, what is it all for? So it's officially revealed that Zeke's spinal fluid is in the wine, and that they were ordered by Yelena to feed it to high-ranking officers, though Yelena still, once again, was the the only one to know, did not even tell her comrades about this, and that really what they're trying to do here is they're planning to use Zeke's spinal fluid to take down all of the high-ranking officers in Paradis's military and politicians and government. So with that being revealed, you can only surmise that they've already lost at this point, that Eren has already called checkmate, or I guess Zeke has already called checkmate on all this, and because of how well this was all planned out, that it really, the very end of the day, means that I think Paradis is going to be led by Eren and Yelena and Zeke. I think that's the way this is headed. Gabi sits down and is talking to Mikasa and Armin, and Gabi doesn't want them to kill Falco, of course, because Gabi really cares about Falco. She thinks that they hate and want to kill her. Armin's response is really interesting in this. Armin says that they don't want to do that, and that she talks way too much about killing. It's another interesting move with Gabi's character, and a logical move in the right direction for her character that I think eventually, again, like I've said in previous episodes, I think she's going to become more of a, not a protagonist role. Think of like Eren and Gabi swapping places here. I think that's really gonna be what's gonna happen. At least that's my theory at this moment, and I would not put it past that to happen, because it just makes sense in my opinion. I think with Gabi's character being so dense and so illogical and downright dumb at times in certain situations, I think that it makes sense for her character to flip-flop, become that of a more, on the more right side of justice, we'll say. Then Flock, the asshole, with his merry gang of other assholes, show up, and they don't want to work with Pixis. They reveal that. Nikola is shocked by Grease joining them, and Grease believes that Nikola got too close to the Eldians. Two factions right now. There's the former, military police and all that, and then there is as well some of the former Eldians, which is really interesting. It makes me think if there's even, really, I mean, honestly, this is a third completely separate faction that's just been introduced. So that's really interesting. It's revealed that Flock knows about the wine, and he gives a really shit-eating grin, and I just hate him, and I want him to die, and I want them to kill Flock. I want them to, it's like the end of Bioshock, when all the little girls stab Fontaine to death. Why not something like that? Why not something like that? Give me one of those things. I don't know. And then at the very end, next episode we're going to get a chat between Eren, Mikasa, and Armin, because he just wants to talk with them. Oh, and Gabi is there as well. So that's going to be a lot of fun for Gabi. Like I said in the previous video that I did for AOT, when Eren is involved, Gabi is sent into a flying rage, and you could see it on her face in this last scene that she wanted to she couldn't, she's shaking. She's so angry. She couldn't handle herself. So she has to handle herself, because she knows that if one wrong move, Eren turns into a Titan and they're all dead. So I cannot wait for the next episode. I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't even have like a clue or an idea of what is going to happen next episode, but I cannot wait. Oh my god. Next episode needs to come right now, you guys, right now. But anyways, thanks everybody for watching the video. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell. This coming Wednesday, hey, we're gonna have a more in-depth review on this episode that you really don't want to miss. Those videos are very fun to do, and thank you all for just watching my channel. Greatly appreciate it. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.